What if I told you there are actually 42 different ways to hit a perfect 9-dart finish in professional darts? Most fans only know the 180, 180, 141 route that gets replayed on highlight reels. But there are mathematical combinations so rare they've only been attempted once in history. Today I'm going to show you every single 9-dart variation that's mathematically possible, from the routes every pro knows to the impossible combinations that only exist in theory. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some 9-darters are routine while others are once-in-a-lifetime miracles. Before we dive in, if you're a fan of darts or fascinated by the precision and psychology behind perfection, hit that subscribe button right now. We're dropping in-depth videos just like this every week, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. This is the complete guide to darts perfection. Before we dive into the variations, let's establish what we're dealing with. The 9-dart finish means reducing 501 points to exactly 0 in 9 throws, the absolute minimum possible in a leg of darts. The mathematics are deceptively simple. You need to average 55.67 points per dart across 9 throws. But the execution? That's where legends are made and careers are defined. Since John Lowe hit the first televised 9-darter in 1984, there have been over 400 recorded perfect legs in professional competition. But here's what most people don't realise. These 400-plus finishes represent only a fraction of the mathematical possibilities. The PDC has documented 42 distinct checkout combinations that can achieve 501 in 9 darts. Some are attempted regularly, others have been hit just once, and a few exist only as mathematical curiosities that no professional has ever dared attempt under pressure. Today, we're exploring them all. Let's start with the routes that every professional player has memorized, the bread and butter of 9-dart finishes. The classic 180, 180, 141. This is the 9-darter everyone knows. 6 treble 20s followed by treble 20, treble 19, double 12. It accounts for roughly 60% of all recorded 9-dart finishes. Why? Because it's the most forgiving route. If you miss the treble 20 in the first 6 darts, you can still recover. Phil Taylor used this route for 11 of his 11 televised 9-darters. When the greatest player in history sticks to one combination, there's a reason. The alternative: 180, 177, 144. 6 treble 20s, then treble 19, treble 20, treble 18, double 15. This route accounts for about 15% of 9-dart finishes. Players use it when they're feeling confident about their treble 19 or when they want to avoid the crowded treble 20 segment late in the leg. The safety net: 180, 174, 147. Treble 20, treble 20, treble 20, treble 18, treble 20, treble 18, treble 19, treble 16, double 18. This route gives players multiple bailout options if they miss their intended target. It's mathematical insurance. These 3 combinations represent 90% of all 9-dart finishes, but they're just the beginning. Now we enter territory where only the most confident players dare to venture, routes that require perfect execution with no room for error. The 167 finish, 180, 180, 141 alternative. Instead of the standard 141 checkout, some players attempt treble 19, treble 18, double 16 for 167. It's mathematically identical but psychologically different. The double 16 is considered easier than double 12 by some players, but the treble 18 setup is less forgiving. Michael van Gerwen used this route for his 9-darter in the 2016 World Championship final, the only 9-dart finish ever hit in a World Championship final. The 164 gamble, 180, 183, 138. This route requires hitting treble 20, treble 19, treble 20 for 177 points. Then treble 20, treble 18, double 15. Only attempted when players are feeling supremely confident about their treble 19. The 161 route: 180, 180, 141 with treble 17. Treble 20, treble 17, treble 20, double 16. This combination has been hit fewer than 10 times in professional competition. Why? Because treble 17 is one of the most difficult targets on the board. Thin, surrounded by low scoring segments, and psychologically intimidating. But here's where it gets really interesting. These rates aren't just about mathematics, they're about psychology. Players who attempt them are making a statement. They're not just aiming for perfection, they're choosing the most difficult path to get there. Some 9-dart finishes transcend mathematics and enter the realm of sporting legend. These aren't just rare, they're historically significant. Brendan Dolan's double-in miracle. On June 13, 2011, Brendan Dolan achieved something that had never been done before and hasn't been repeated since. A 9-dart finish starting with double-in rules. Under double-in rules, you must start each leg by hitting a double. Dolan hit double 20, then 6 treble 20s, then treble 17, treble 18, double 18. The mathematical probability? Approximately 1 in 36 million.
Yes! Go on. Bullseye! Bullseye for the 9! Yes! The first ever in Grand...
But the psychological pressure was even greater. Dolan knew he was attempting something that had never been achieved. Every dart carried the weight of history. When he hit that final double 18, he didn't just complete a 9-dart finish, he rewrote the record books. John Lowe's Television First. October 13th, 1984, the MFI World Match Play. John Lowe stepped up to the oche and hit the first 9-dart finish ever captured on television. The route? The classic 180, 180, 141.
Yeah! He has done it! A moment of darting history. The first ever televised 9-dart 501. We have seen darts all over the world. We have been to Hawaii, we have been to Las Vegas, we've been to New Zealand, and John Lowe is the man to make history.
But here's what makes this moment transcendent. Lowe didn't know he was making history. There was no crowd countdown, no commentator building tension. He simply threw 9 perfect darts and created the template that every 9-darter since has followed. The BBC commentator's reaction was understated. Well, that's very good indeed. Today that clip is considered one of the most important moments in darts history. Phil Taylor's match play double. 2010 World Match Play Final, Phil Taylor versus James Wade. Taylor hits not 1 but 2 9-dart finishes in the same match. The only time this has ever happened in a major final. The first 9-darter was routine Taylor brilliance. The second was psychological warfare. Wade later described watching Taylor hit the second perfect leg. It was like throwing against a wall that hit back harder every time. Now we enter the realm of mathematical possibility versus practical reality. Routes that exist on paper but have never been attempted in professional competition. The All-Treble route, 171, 165, 165. Mathematically, you could hit treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, 171. Then treble 20, treble 17, treble 16, 165. Then treble 19, treble 18, treble 16, 165. Total, 501. Why has no one ever attempted this? Because it requires hitting 9 different treble segments in perfect sequence. The margin for error is 0, and the psychological pressure would be overwhelming. The Bullseye gamble, 150, 175, 176. 3 treble bulls, 150, then treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, 175, then treble 20, treble 20, treble 18, 176. Mathematically sound, practically insane. The Bullseye is the smallest target on the board. Attempting 3 in a row for a 9-dart finish would be considered reckless by any professional player. Yet the mathematics work perfectly. Chaos Theory route, 168, 167, 166. Multiple combinations exist that spread the scoring across all segments of the board. These routes are mathematically elegant but practically impossible. They require hitting targets in sequences that no human being could reasonably attempt under pressure. These theoretical routes serve a purpose beyond mathematics. They remind us that darts perfection isn't just about hitting the highest scores, it's about choosing the right path to get there. The game has evolved since John Lowe's first televised 9-darter. Modern players are stronger, more accurate and more confident about attempting difficult routes. Luke Littler's Youth Revolution. At just 17 years old, Luke Littler has already hit multiple 9-dart finishes using routes that older players wouldn't attempt. His fearlessness represents a generational shift. Young players who grew up watching 9-darters on YouTube aren't intimidated by perfection. Littler's preferred route? 180, 180, 141, but with variations. He's comfortable switching to treble 19 or treble 18 mid-leg if the treble 20 segment becomes crowded. This adaptability represents the modern approach to 9-dart finishing. Gerwyn Price's pressure cooker. Price has hit 9-dart finishes in some of the most hostile environments in darts. His approach is methodical. Stick to the standout route, block out the crowd, and trust the process. His 2019 Grand Slam 9-darter came while wearing ear defenders to block out crowd noise. The message was clear: external pressure won't affect internal precision. Michael Smith's mathematical mind. Smith approaches 9-dart finishes like a chess player, always thinking 3 moves ahead. He's one of the few players who will switch routes mid-leg based on board conditions or psychological factors. His 2022 World Championship 9-darter used the 180, 177, 144 route, specifically because he felt more comfortable with the treble 19 setup than the standard treble 20 finish. What separates a good player from a great one isn't just the ability to hit 9-dart finishes, it's knowing when to attempt them and which route to choose. Pressure situations. In major finals, most players stick to the 180, 180, 141 route. It's familiar, forgiving, and proven. Attempting a rare route in a high-pressure situation is considered reckless. But some players thrive on that pressure. They use different routes as psychological weapons, showing opponents that they're not just confident, they're fearless. Board conditions. Professional players read dartboards like golfers read greens. If the treble 20 segment is damaged or crowded with previous darts, they'll switch to alternative routes. This adaptability is what separates professionals from amateurs. Great players don't just memorize one route, they master multiple options and choose the best one for each situation. Mental state. The decision to attempt a 9-dart finish often comes down to feel. Players describe a mental state where everything slows down, the crowd noise fades, and the only thing that exists is the next dart. Phil Taylor described it perfectly. You don't think about the 9-darter until you're throwing the 7th dart. Before that, you're just playing darts. As players get stronger and more accurate, we're seeing evolution in 9-dart finishing. Young players are attempting routes that previous generations considered impossible. The next breakthrough might be the first televised 9-dart finish using an all-treble route, or perhaps someone will finally hit the theoretical Bullseye combination. But regardless of which route they choose, one thing remains constant. A 9-dart finish represents the absolute pinnacle of darts perfection. It's mathematics made beautiful, pressure transformed into precision, and human potential realised in its purest form. From John Lowe's historic first to Brendan Dolan's impossible double-in, from Phil Taylor's dominance to Luke Littler's fearless youth, every 9-dart finish tells a story. Some are about routine excellence, others about historic achievement, and a few about the courage to attempt the impossible. The 42 mathematical routes to perfection aren't just numbers on a page, they're roadmaps to greatness, each one representing a different philosophy about how to achieve the impossible under pressure. The truth is, understanding 9-dart finishes is just the beginning of appreciating the mathematical beauty and psychological complexity of professional darts. Next week, I'm diving even deeper into the mental game that separates good players from legends, revealing the psychological techniques that turn pressure into performance. Which of these routes would you dare to try with the world watching? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you won't want to miss what's coming next. This is Darts Nation, where we don't just cover the sport, we decode the science of perfection.